Let's go, pal.
Hello fellow legends, Dapster Plays here with more Fallout content for you guys. In the next few videos, we're gonna go over the lore and story of the Enclave from beginning to end. I would put it all in one big video, but it's really long. So we're gonna do it per game or two. So today we're going over Fallout 76's Enclave, because Fallout 76 is a prequel to all the other games. Feel free to use timestamps in the scroll bar to scroll through different chapters in a video if you want to look at something in specific. But other than that, let's get right into it, guys. Don't forget to like the video if you enjoy it, subscribe if you want to take it a step further, and hit the notification bell for future updates on new content. Let's get right into it, guys. So before we get into Fallout 76's Enclave, you gotta know who the Enclave is in general. And if you don't know who that is, let me explain it for you. Then let me explain who they are. According to the Fallout Wiki on Phantom, the Enclave is a post-war institution that developed as a continuity of government measure for the pre-war federal government of the USA, frequently styling itself as the United States of America. In short, this practically means that the Enclave are the remnants of the US government in a way. They're trying to still carry out the authority of the government in the wasteland, which of course doesn't work out with practically everyone, and that's why they're always in conflict with everyone else. And this is not the only thing that the Enclave is known for. The Enclave is also known for their mindset of purifying the wasteland, and what I mean by that is that the Enclave strongly believes that they and even some vault dwellers are the only pure ones left in the human race, because the rest of the population has been too contaminated by the fallout to be saved. Because of this, the Enclave is hostile to everyone and anyone or anything that it comes across in the wasteland. However, they weren't always like this, believe it or not. This started around 2140, 21 years before the first entry of Fallout. However, it is important to note that Fallout 76 took place at 2102, which was 59 years before the first Fallout game. So the Enclave did not have this idea yet in 76. Due to their limitless amount of resources, the Enclave has an isolationist perspective and won't recruit anyone outside of their ranks, with the exception of a few occasions. They execute anything in their past and exercise force when they want something, as seen in the events of Fallout 3 and even 2. They see most humans out of their ranks the same as ghouls and mutants, which are abominations to be destroyed so that true humanity could take its place in real America. Or at least that's how they see it. Now let's get into the beginnings of the Enclave. Like I mentioned earlier, the Enclave was made of the remnants of the US government or something similar. The Enclave before the war was actually an informal, secretive group made up of many different powerful figures in the US. This includes presidents, government members, and even the military. The Sino-American War, which was the war between the US and China, which eventually led to the destruction of the Old World, dragged on, and the risk for nuclear war was rising really high. The Enclave took note of that, and they invested in many different resources to survive the coming war that were corporate and government funded. This led the Enclave to continue waging war even after the bombs fell. So the Enclave was pretty much very prepared for the apocalypse, and that's why they have a lot of equipment in the wasteland. The most prominent of these installations was the Presidential Rig, which is featured in Fallout 2, and the Whitesprings bunker, which is featured in Fallout 76. The bunker was funded by the Department of Agriculture, by its secretary, Thomas Eckhart. The Enclave used Vault-Tec's underground shelters to test the occupants on many different unique experiments, which is why there's always a crazy experiment going on in most of the vaults. They did these experiments to get data from them, and they could observe all the vaults from the oil rig with all their equipment that they have. But the earliest take on the Enclave in a game was Fallout 76, because it was a prequel to the other games like I said earlier. The Enclave hid in the shadows of the government, and no one in the general public knew about their existence because they kept a low profile. One way they could hide from the public was because they only accepted members on an invite-only basis. The large majority of the government didn't even know the Enclave existed beyond rumors and irregularities in budget. This didn't, however, stop the people from within and out of the government trying to prove their existence to the public. The US military refused the Enclave to get into some of their systems, This is because the powers in the government oppose using a nuclear strike on China, as some members of the Enclave desired, which we'll get into soon. Starting on June 4th, 2077, U.S. Senator Sam Blackwell began an investigation on the Whitesprings bunker project and Vault-Tec's involvement. However, after unrelated threats to his daughter,
Your daughter Judy's a busy woman, Senator, but not hard to find. You've been sticking your nose where it doesn't belong, Samuel, and now you've gone too far. We're coming for you, and your family. This was your warning.
he vanished and he left. He went into hiding. It didn't take him long though to reappear to do an interview proclaiming a show government and their sick plans on American citizens, which is obviously regarding the Enclave. When the bombs dropped, some members of the Congress retreated to the Whitesprings Congressional bunker. However, some were too late, and others who weren't part of the Enclave were shot dead by automated turrets going into the bunker. The surviving members, however, were put to vote for Thomas Eckhart, the Secretary of Agriculture, as president. His plan was to finish the war against Chinese communists, and anyone who voted against him was literally executed, leaving on 48 members left. So as you can imagine, he became the president of the Appalachian Enclave. Eckhart's election was recorded on holotape that you can find in a terminal inside of the Whitesprings Congressional bunker in Fallout 76. Here's what it says.
Whitespring, automated recording, 1.1.7.
Ladies and gentlemen, the news is not good. It is my sad duty to inform you the Secretary of the Treasury has passed. Acute radiation sickness, it seems. This, in addition to the unexpected severance of our connection to Raven Rock and the President, means our little enclave is without leadership. According to the rules of succession, outlined long before our entry into this bastion, that responsibility now falls to me. I acknowledge the pain you all must be feeling. I see it on your faces, and I feel it in my heart. Loved ones lost, colleagues gone. But now is not the time to allow ourselves to be overwhelmed by tragedy. This is the moment to recognize and seize the opportunity that lies before us. The world outside believes the war is over, that there are no more true Americans with the will to fight. They are wrong. We are going to fight. We will use this facility to continue the battle against our enemies, against communism, against all the wretched things that brought this war upon us. And we will, for once and for all, put an end to war. When we are victorious, there will be no more enemies left to stand against us. But of course, the rule of law still applies here, my brothers and sisters. The Enclave is the bastion of democracy and will remain so, I assure you. So then, let us vote. All in favor of using this facility and the resources of this land to continue the war that others believe lost, please move to the left side of the room. All who oppose, please move to the right. Well, there you have it. I'm sorry to see so many uncommitted to the cause of America. Mr. Gray here will help sort out accommodations for you all. Everyone else, please follow me down to the science wing.
Accommodations? What the hell's he talking about, Gray?
Not to worry, General. We have a plan for you all.
Modus, seal the room.
The room is sealed.
What? What the hell is...
Eckhart rededicated his branch of the Enclave to the eradication of communism. Since they lost contact to the other Enclave bases, such as the Rig and Raven Rock, Eckhart proclaimed himself president of the Appalachian Enclave. He then went forward with his plan to eradicate the remaining Chinese communists, and his plan to do that was using the nuclear silos of Appalachia to ensure their destruction. However, he had a problem. Due to the automated systems, he had to prove that Appalachia is in enough danger to use nuclear missile silos and activate DEFCON 1. This is where his plan goes really crazy. To activate DEFCON 1, he unleashed progressively worse horrors upon Appalachia, from those little Chinese liberator robots you find around the map, through super mutants, to scorched beasts, which are massive mutated bats created by the Enclave, infected with a crazy plague capable of controlling living creatures, including humans. And this is actually the reason of the whole Scorched Plague in Fallout 76, because of their Scorched Beasts. So it's the Enclave's fault that the Scorched Plague took place. Eckhart recruited a group of military soldiers that came from DC because the Congressional bunker was the only source of government they could think of. This included a woman named Ellen Santiago, who rebelled against Eckhart after he started doing all these crazy things to activate DEFCON 1. The system prevented launching nuclear strikes from the region's automated nuclear silos unless DEFCON 1 was reached. So Eckhart tried all that he could to activate DEFCON 1, and he finally reached it when he released the Scorched Beast. Ellen Santiago became a general because she self-promoted herself at Camp McClintock, and she held the keys to the nuclear silos and threatened to quit the Enclave. And she held the keys to the nuclear silos and even threatened to quit the Enclave because of his madness. When Eckhart realized he can't go on without her help, he knocked out Santiago and immediately locked her up in the bunker's brig. Whenever the system hit DEFCON 1, the Appalachian Enclave split into two: Eckhart's hardliners and Santiago's loyalists, who openly rebelled mid-2086. Led by Captain Jackson and another major whose last name I can't pronounce, so I'll put it on the screen. The rebels fought the hardliners throughout the bunker. Santiago's rebels fought the hardliners throughout the bunker. Then they saved Santiago and restored her to command. Because Santiago ordered for Modus, the backup Enclave AI system, to be destroyed to save Appalachia. And when Modus realized that he was in danger, he turned on every single human in the Enclave. And after they exploded part of Modus's memory, Modus exploded the weapons lab and killed General Santiago, and then he ruptured a toxic tank that went into the AC system. After that, Modus purposely sealed all the doors to the exit and killed every human in the Enclave, including President Eckhart. Years later though, during the events of Fallout 76, which is in 2102, Modus had the bunker already cleaned up and decontaminated to restore the former glory of the Enclave. He couldn't contact the other Enclave bunkers because the systems were messed up in there, so he patiently waited till someone came to give him his next orders. This is where the Vault Dwellers of Fallout 76 came in. Not only did he try to recruit the Vault Dwellers, he also tried to recruit the U.S. Army Captain, Captain Fields, who came next year during the Wastelanders update, but he failed. It is up to the Vault Dwellers to accept Modus's recruitment and even rank up to General, eventually nuking Appalachia. The human Enclave has not yet made a return as of right now. And I say as of right now meaning as of Steel Dawn. But since the Brotherhood got an update in Steel Dawn, who knows, maybe the Enclave will get their own update. And now it just comes to theories and speculation for the future. And I have a few videos on the Enclave for that. I'll link them in the description for you guys to check out if you're interested. And that leads us to the end of the Enclave's lore in Fallout 76, for now. In the next video, I'll continue to Fallout 2, because they don't appear in Fallout 1. And we'll talk about the Enclave story in Fallout 2 in that video. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to leave a like if you did, subscribe if you want to take it a step further, and hit the notification bell for future updates on new content. We'll continue this story in part 2. Thanks for watching and God bless.